Wow, thank you all so much. We got an amazing response from the last video. We got so many likes and lots of great comments and thoughts expressed. We really appreciate it because, as I said, we made this for you. If you haven't watched the previous video, we strongly recommend that you do. We covered a bunch of great information about dealing with parents and clients, crowd control techniques, which we know was a huge obstacle for many of you. You know, I've actually read every single comment you've made and we're going through and answering every question that's there. So don't worry if yours hasn't been answered yet. We'll get to it very soon. Comments are still open, of course, so if you thought of another question, just ask. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to deal with yet another big issue we know you're facing: pricing. In the survey, when we asked, what is your biggest struggle as an entertainer? We were overwhelmed with more than 450 detailed responses, and almost 38% of you said that pricing was the biggest issue for you. Unfortunately, this is no surprise to us, as we know that artists are notorious for struggling with the money side, and society in general these days just don't tend to show their appreciation for us through money, because we do it for the love, right? Yeah, well, love doesn't pay the bills, does it? Here's some of the questions and conflicts that we know you're battling. What is a reasonable price to charge? I'm not confident enough to charge more, but I'm just not making enough money. How am I supposed to cover the costs of my supplies, transport, and still make any money on top? People scoff at my pricing and then want to haggle. How do I avoid that? How do I get people to take me seriously and realize that this is a real business? Here's another big one. There are other artists in my area who are less experienced but charge competitive rates that affect my business. How do I deal with that? Well, I know these things can make you feel unappreciated, insulted, and even disrespected at times. Someone even said, sometimes I feel like I'm not worthy to get paid to do what I love. Well, these are some powerful questions, and my goal is to create a shift in your thinking today, because this is a big subject and it's very close to my heart. Let me tell you something you probably haven't heard before. Did you know that there are some artists who get paid without anybody scoffing at them? There are artists who have clients who don't even ask for the price when they hire them. Believe it or not, there are actually artists who get all their costs covered easily and deal with only people who take them seriously. And I'm not talking about big stars or celebrities, just ordinary people, from stay-at-home mums and dads to students and part-time professionals. You think I'm pulling your leg, don't you? Well, you've guessed it. We actually have another little trick up our sleeves, maybe a few, that when you just learn how to do it, you too can enter into the circle of artists who breeze through the money side of their business. You don't look very convinced yet. Well, you know, if there was anyone who did know how to pull this off, you know it would be us. If you watched the first video, you already know who we are, but what you might not know is that Philadelphia, the owner and founder of facepaintingtips.com, is also a pianist and used to be a teacher. She lives in Europe now, but when she was a music student in Australia, she began teaching from home. Not only was she able to book out her teaching timetable in 3 months, but she also managed to charge top prices from the beginning. No discounts, no beginner pricing. She didn't work her way up. She put herself there immediately and nobody scoffed or complained. She continued to do this for 8 years, even while she was building FPT, getting married and giving birth to her gorgeous daughter, who is my niece, by the way. She gets her looks from her auntie, I think. My name is Clarinda, and when I started my consulting business, I was 21 years old. I went out and competed in a market that was flooded with consultants, at least double my age, who had been consulting long before I was even born. All I had was a fresh idea and a whole bag full of ambition. I was worried that people wouldn't take me seriously because of my age. Someone very wise told me, if you're good, you're good. I didn't believe him, and I wasn't sure I was that good anyway. To make a very long story short, because I can assure you that there is no such thing as an overnight success, I became the most in-demand consultant in Australia in my niche before I was 25. I've worked with Olympians, United Nations speakers, Nobel Peace Prize nominees, and I became a coach to dozens of top consultants. Some clients didn't even know my age until months after working with them. Now, the important thing to note is that I didn't become a top consultant by pushing my competition out of the way. There were so many amazing consultants who had been working hard for 20 plus years. I don't believe in stepping on other people and stealing their clients. So how did I do it? Well, I could do it because I didn't actually have any competition. Neither did Philadelphia with her piano students. Sounds crazy, right? How could that even be possible? Well, it's a pretty big feat to achieve, and I'm not gonna lie, there's more than one trick involved in getting this done for yourself. You might get this overnight, but you might not. For you, it might take a few weeks, maybe a few months, but if you're able to make even a little more money in the next few months from this free little video, then hey, That's really awesome. Pricing your services sure can be a complex process, but it's really simple when you actually know what to do. I can go on teaching for 3 whole days on how to do this successfully, but I'm gonna do my very best in this video to give you something that you can implement right away that will have the biggest effect on you immediately. Okay, so the first thing we need to look at is your questions. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. Have you heard that saying before? I can tell you that this is a fact. You'll notice that in the previous video, although many of you asked, how do I end a line? I didn't actually teach you how to do that. I taught you something that didn't involve a line at all. So let's look at your questions. Many of you ask, how much should I charge? Or what is the standard price that others charge so I can figure out my own price? Also, how am I supposed to charge more than my competition and still get business? These questions are a great start. What we need to do now is develop better quality questions so we can get closer to getting the answers that will benefit you the most. I'll give you some examples in a moment, but before I do, I should acknowledge that I know many of you just want to know how much to actually charge. You just want to be told, hey, you charge $5 per face. I could do that. Keep in mind this would vary from state to state and country to country, but I need you to trust me for a moment. I've done this so many times for clients, and I know that telling you exactly how much to charge is not going to help you. There is much more to consider. So I'm going to show you 3 simple steps on how to price yourself. So can you trust me for just a few minutes? Okay, awesome. Step 1, work backwards. Sounds like a strange first step, right? Working backwards is excellent for goal setting. Here's 3 high quality questions you need to ask yourself. How much are my costs? Calculate the costs of your supplies, gas, equipment, advertising, etc. All of the things you have to spend, and calculate it into what it all costs per month on average. Once you have your monthly costs calculated, you've made some great headway to figuring out how much you should actually charge. How much do I need to make? Above the costs, there is also your time spent. How much do you need to make per month to cover the cost of your time? Do me a favor and don't start thinking about what you would be willing to accept. What do you actually need to make for yourself or for your family to make it worth your time? How much do you want to make? Whoa, 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 whoa. Now everybody stop. Want? What is want? We're not allowed to ask for that. Okay, jokes aside. Do yourself a favor and ask yourself, how much do you want to make per month? And you know that little voice that is saying, no, that's too much. You can never do that. That's impossible. Just ignore that little guy. He's just there to keep you safe from doing anything crazy. All I'm asking you is a simple question, so just write down your answer. Don't have to worry about how to make it happen or anything like that right now. Just write it down. Step 2, add value. Yes, it's true. There's really only so much you can charge per face at a festival, for example, or for ballooning at a child's party. But how can we add to your services so that you can increase your prices and get closer to covering your costs and making a good income? See, we don't believe in making money by taking. We're all about making money by giving. The more you can contribute to the world, the more you can get back. So the question is, how can I be better? What services or value can I add to complement what I do? Parties and corporate gigs are a great opportunity to do what we call packaging, which increases your prices significantly. If you do it well, it's one of the strategies that makes you truly unique, so unique, in fact, that you don't have any competition, which is what my sister and I did. This concept merges into marketing questions that we'll be covering in the next video, so look out for that where we go into a lot more detail. Step 3, seeing your value. Okay, this is funny. This is the thing that has the biggest impact on my clients every time. I want you to write these 3 questions down because I want you to answer them shortly. Question 1, what is your talent and how long have you been working on it? Include how many years you might have been training as an example. Question 2, why did you fall in love with it? Give a specific example or memory of when you fell in love with your art. Was it the expression on the face of your first painted child when they looked at themselves in the mirror? What was it for you? Explain that moment in detail. And question 3, what do people always compliment you on? That's clients, friends, family, children you work with. It could be related to your art, or it could just be your approach, or how you are with your children. It could be your professionalism, your energy, your character. Write it all down, and when you can't think of any more, think of another one. Get it all out of you. Once you're done, ask your friends, family, and clients. Find 15 minutes somewhere in your day and answer these questions thoroughly. You owe it to yourself. Keep in mind, it might send you on a bit of soul searching. That's good. What you'll find is that the more time you spend on this, the better position you are to price yourself. Because here's the hard truth that might be difficult for you to swallow. If you're having trouble justifying your price to someone else, it's because you're not certain that you're worth that price in the first place. Yep, that's right, I said it. And it's the truth 99.9% of the time. So again, I could tell you just charge $5 per face, but that's not going to help you the way that these high quality questions are going to help you in a very deep way and in the long run. Saying that, let's take a look at step 1 again. Work backwards. Cost, need, and want. To put it simply, that's all the pricing formula comes down to. So here's the goal. Find out exactly what your business costs are. You might be surprised, or maybe comforted, to find out how many entertainers don't really know what their actual costs are. Gaining clarity on this information is the first absolutely crucial step to narrowing down your price. After your costs are calculated, figure out what you need to get paid for your time. And remember, you need to factor in the time you spent before and after events. Think of it as an amount that you would pay someone else if they were to do all of that for you. And lastly, what do you want to make on top? This becomes your profit. Cost plus need plus want equals your price. So very roughly, if your costs work out to be $30 per hour, and you need to make $20 per hour, and you want to make $10 per hour on top, then your price per hour might be $60 per hour. And if you can do 12 faces an hour, you can charge at least $5 per face. Now, I'm using very conservative numbers. Your numbers may look vastly different to this, and I know that the formula looks simple, but there are actually a lot of factors that influence how you actually get to those numbers. Just know this, once you know exactly what your business is costing you, you'll feel much more confident to decide on pricing for your services that will keep you happy and your clients happy. Now, I know a lot was covered in this video. You might have more questions and it may all seem a bit overwhelming. Let's all take a breath. Now let me reassure you. What we've found is that the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that when they're given great information and advice, they actually do it. There is nothing special about them, I promise. They just did what the experts told them to do. So can you promise to just trust us and take even just a little bit of time out to answer the questions in this video? Good. Now don't hesitate to even write them in the comments below. We really want to see what you're thinking and feeling. Okay, now figuring out your pricing is one thing, but what about actually getting enough regular work? How do you promote yourself? What about getting those rare high-paying gigs? How do you go from being a seasonal entertainer to having a sustainable income? Is that even possible? It really is possible to have all of that. So if you're pumped and ready to make some real change for yourself, you need to keep your eyes peeled for the next video. So how did we do? Did you like this video? Like and please share if you can think of someone who needs to hear this. Comment and share your answers with us. We will be reading every comment and replying to all of your questions. We can't wait to hear your thoughts because we made this for you. Until next time.